Hello there, my beautiful souls. My name's Hunter from Hunter's Healing Heart. I am a health, wellness, and ascension coach, helping you rise to your highest frequency, vibration, and truth. And today, guys, this is going to be such a good lesson. I wish I knew about this earlier. And this is projections. How other people treat you, how other people show up, the energy that they give is all a reflection of what they have internally within themselves. Right? And to give you an example, I have a relationship in my life. I don't want to mention the name because she might get upset at me. And she's dear to me. I love her. A beautiful, beautiful woman. And she has a temper. She gets a little angry at times. She's like, Hunter, I don't know why I get angry. And I was like, I know. Are you open to receive it? And she's like, sure. And I'm like, the reason why anger comes up for you because there's a part of yourself that you are angry with. And she sat with it for a moment and there was a glitch. And I love the glitches because it means we're getting deeper. Something is coming up. And so through the glitch, her hair has a mind of its own for today. Through the glitch, we're breaking through. And she's like, Hunter, I haven't really thought of it like that. Let me dig deeper. And so I at least planted the seed, and she knows it's a whisper. She'll have to dig a little bit deeper to get that clarity, to get that insight, right? And with this, guys, the highest truth always is love, unity, and sacredness. So whenever you don't have that inside, there is something in you that needs healing. There's a wound, there's a pain, there is a suffering, an imbalance. So it's your duty to just honor it, sit with it, go within. And some of these projections, guys, most of the time, they're gonna be unconscious. The people aren't gonna be aware of them. When they're triggered, it just comes up. And so it takes someone who's done a lot of work to really sit with it, be able to break it down and catch it before it starts, just happening. And that takes a lot of work, a lot of patience, a lot of grounding. And so that's what you're eventually getting to, guys. And what I wanted to talk to you today too is with what people have inside. If you're dealing with someone who has going through a lot, and our society does such a disservice with this because we don't give windows for people just to be real. And that's all states: anger, frustration, sadness, jealousy, insecure. We judge very harshly, and there's not a lot of acceptance within it. So they push it down and they wear masks. And these masks, guys, can be so destructive because you think you know someone, you're seeing what they're coming to the surface with, and then boom, you get something else. And it's like, well, what's true? And guys, what it comes down to, masks all come down in stress and conflict. That is who you get to see who someone truly is. So it is your duty and mission to honor that, honor the conflict that comes up, because that is someone's truth. And honor it, always honor it, right? And when you're dealing with someone who is projecting, it is a blessing. And if you get triggered too, guys, and you start projecting stuff, it is a blessing. You need to view it as such because it's showing you what wounds need to be healed. What in you is seeking validation? What in you feels a little bit insecure, right? And so that journey is discovery, guys. It is discovery. And most people aren't manipulative and doing it from a place of malicious intent. Most of the time, it's just their wounding coming up. So have compassion and kindness with it so they could integrate it, right? And so if you have done nothing wrong and people are triggering around you, that's great. It means you're in your energy, in your resonancy, and you are helping people heal. And as a side note, as you begin to do the healing work, you're gonna trigger people. It's an inevitable because you are healing those integrated parts of yourself, and it's by default. And a story comes to mind. Oh man, this one was weird. There was this gal, and beautiful, radiant, at least at first. And then as we started connecting, some of the mask started to slip, and I noticed a sense of control. And I remember we're at Whole Foods and we talked a couple times, chatted for maybe like 10, 15 minutes. And we're by the granola bar, the Go Macro bar section. and we're looking at the bars, and she's like, we had a little small talk, and she's like, you should get this one. And it was like this lemon flavored, and I'm like, no, I like my salted caramel. I'm good. And she's like, no, I want you to get this one. And I looked at her, and I was a little perplexed. I was like, well, what is happening now? And I told her, no, I'm good. I'm going to get this salted caramel. And she's like, if you do not get the other one, the lemon, I'm going to leave. And I looked at her, I'm like, okay. And I grabbed my salted caramel, and she booked off. And I actually had another experience with this gal. It was like a party maybe a month later, and she's like, I don't know what it is, but I'm just so triggered by you. And in that state, I was professionally working with people, and I just told her, like, I'm not in a state to dive deeper into this. That is your journey, and love and acceptance with that. I wish you well. And that triggered her even more. And so with this, guys, a key to helping others when their wounds come up, when their projections come up, is lead with love and compassion, because in that you could heal it, you can make them feel safe and understood, and massive healing will happen in that moment. But keep in mind, you do not have to, you're not obligated to do that. And some people don't want to be healed, and then you have to be really strong in your boundaries, right? So when people are triggered around you, it is a strength. It is a strength. And if you're dealing with someone who is manipulative, they view your strength and they don't have it. So they'll try to sabotage you, bring you down to their level to feel more secure in themselves. So whenever someone is trying to bring you down in any way, whether it's through sarcasm or humor, like, oh, I was just joking, and it's like, there's a time and a place, but if it is a consistent pattern of them, guys, you do not want to engage in that. That is very destructive. Or if someone belittles you, starts gaslighting your reality, dismissing all your experiences, it is because they don't feel secure in themselves, and they want to bring you down to their level. So just view it as a gift, and it's all on them. It has nothing to do with you. Nothing to do with you. And this helps you lead with kindness and compassion with it, guys. Kindness and compassion. And it can be tough, especially if intimacy is involved, love is involved. Everything amplifies. And especially if there were masks in the beginning, it'll really start making you question your reality. And then trauma bonds start coming in. And that is a whole different ball game, guys. We'll go into that in detail and how certain steps that you're in one. But it's like, well, how do you deal with someone and their projections and their woundings and their triggerings on you? One, benefit of the doubt, guys. Benefit of the doubt. There's possible you might not be seeing things clearly, and there is a possibility that you misinterpreted what they're bringing across, right? And so keep moving forward. Silence is really good, maybe 3-5 seconds. Just maintain eye contact, and then continue your point and see how that person responds. And so that way you didn't acknowledge it, you just let it under the radar, but you still maintained your energy, your essence by eye contact. But then the next part, guys, is if that behavior happens again, or they're pushing it for another reason, now you have to call out the behavior. And you could just say, hey, what are you doing right now? Or what is your intention with this? Because when you say that, I feel this certain emotion in my body. What is your intention? So you're calling them out, and you're giving them the space with that, because they might not be fully conscious of it, right? And then based on how they respond, you could move one or two ways. They'll either, hey, yep, this is what's going on. But you've led with love and compassion. There's a possibility you could heal it. Or they don't recognize it. It's unconscious. And then boundaries, be really strong and firm in it, and say, hey, if we continue this line of talk again, I'm done. I'm going to walk away. I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt. And it's up to you. I'm not controlling you in any single way. The choice is yours. And then based on what they do, have the courage and the self-love and the self-respect to walk away, guys. That's why boundaries are so important. So important in your energy. Because if you don't honor your boundaries, and if you have a really radiant and good light because you focus on it, you build it and cultivate it every single day, it's going to be very destructive, and it's going to leave a lot of work that you have to deal with. Because with those projections, guys, you're going to pick some of it up, and it's not fair to you. And especially with another person, if they haven't communicated, and most people don't, right? And this is another side point that I want to bring up, guys. If you get triggered, right, is if you are in a space and you've processed it and you want to try and communicate that with the other person, just ask them. Just say, hey, do you have a couple minutes? There is something coming up with me and I would love some insight and clarity with it. And that way you're creating space with it. And then you start with what happened and how it made you feel. And then you ask a question. You ask questions to make sure it's in the highest truth. Because if you don't ask questions, you're allowing your perception of the world to dictate what is happening versus seeking how that other person viewed it and experienced it to get to the highest truth. The highest truth. And to give you an example, and guys, I've messed up at this. I haven't been perfect. There was an experience at Sprouts, and there was a gal who, I was talking to, I was chatting with, and I ended up getting her number, and then through life and experiences, I didn't end up following through with it because I was in survival mode, just trying to get by. And there's another girl who worked there, and it was like maybe 2 months later, and I asked for her number, and I was flirting for a little bit. I saw potential in there. And then that first girl came up to me and she just unloaded, projected. And I was in a fasting state. I didn't eat for like 20 hours. It was a dry fast. And so my boundaries weren't up and I just accepted it. And it was a really draining experience, guys. It was a really draining experience. And in reflecting, I would have called her out and said, hey, before we engage in this, what needs to happen is you need to ask. This is emotional, heavy, and I might not be in a space right now to handle it. And before you start releasing, do you have any questions for me? And but you live and you learn. And so guys, this is a journey. Your energy is sacred, and just know how other people are communicating with you and connecting to you and projecting. That is all on them and their relationship to themselves. Don't take it personal. Honor your space and lead with love and compassion, right? I do offer one-on-one coaching for you guys to step into your fullness. We'll figure out what's underneath the surface, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. We will wither away your disempowerment, make it so you're not triggered, figure out your insecurities, make them massive strengths. And then, guys, we'll work on your gifts with goals and hold you accountable every single step of the way and give you the highest support in the world, because we need to see you shine.